Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today I'm going to be kind of comparing two games that have been compared a lot in the last year or so. And these two games are two really big heavy hitters, and they're both in the top 10 on BoardGameGeek.com. This is the older game, Terraforming Mars, currently ranked number 6 on BoardGameGeek, versus Ark Nova, which has surpassed it and has reached to number 4 in a very short amount of time. It has just jumped through the ranks. It's quite impressive. And these two games have been really compared a lot in the last year. In fact, a lot of people will call Ark Nova Terraforming Zoo. It gets a lot of its root gameplay from Terraforming Mars and from a couple other games, but mostly from Terraforming Mars. So I want to compare the two a little bit and give my final thoughts on them and see, did Ark Nova kill Terraforming Mars for me? And just so you guys know, I love Terraforming Mars. It has been in my top 30, maybe even my top 20 for the last 3 or 4 years now. It's a game that I've really liked. I like that engine building with the card play and everything. But let's just give a very quick overview of both of these games, and then I'll go and I'll kind of compare the two, give a little bit of contrast for that. So let's start with the former game, Terraforming Mars. What is this game? Terraforming Mars, at its base, is a card-playing tableau builder with the theme of you are terraforming Mars. You are trying to complete 3 of these global parameters, which the global parameters are, you are trying to lay out oceans, putting out oceans on to Mars. You are trying to raise the heat index of Mars, and you are also trying to raise the oxygen level in order for Mars to become habitable. How you're going to be doing this is you are going to get a hand of cards that you're going to try and play out these cards, and they have a monetary value. You have to pay for these cards. So you have to pay for these cards, and these cards are going to do usually a couple different things. They're either going to help you improve Mars by, laying an ocean down or bringing a heat index up or getting some oxygen out there, or they're going to help your engine building that is on your own personal player card, which that's like it will show what your income will be for several different things. Your income for money, your income for steel or titanium, your income for plants and for heat and power, stuff that will help you along the way. So all of it is geared towards trying to complete these 3 global parameters. And the round is going to go, each player's taking turns until basically everybody's out of actions that they can do for that round. And then everybody passes, and then you get your income for that round. And your income is based on where your score marker is. And so you're going to get money for that, and then you're going to get more cards, and then you're going to play it until all 3 of those global parameters are met. And the person who's got the most points at the end of this wins the game. Very quick overview of Terraforming Mars. Now, what's Ark Nova? Ark Nova is also a card-laying tableau builder, but this one has the theme of you are building this zoo instead. But there's one big difference. There's this card river that you have, and the card river is going to basically have the 5 different actions that you can take throughout the game. And when you take that action of that card, it comes off that river and goes to the very beginning, and all the other cards slide up. And the further along this track your card, that card action, the more powerful that card becomes. And the different actions are building out enclosures in your zoo, and you'll need enclosures in order to have animals, to put animals in these. The second action, you can pay the money to pay one of these animals in order to put that into your zoo, and you need the enclosure for that size of animal in order to play it, but you're going to have to pay money for those animal cards. You can also get cards, get more cards into your hand. You can take association actions, which will sort of get things for you for cheaper, kind of. You can get an association zoo, different things for that. And there are sponsor cards, which are basically more cards that will help your engine. And you're going to take so many actions, and then soon there's going to be what is called a break in this game, and that's basically the end of that round. At the end of the round, then you're going to get money, you're going to get income, like Terraforming Mars, and like Terraforming Mars, the amount of income you get at the end of the round is based on where one of your score markers is at the current time. And in this game, you're going to have basically two different tracks that you're going around, and one track is on the other side of the board, and the other marker will start on this side of the board, and they'll slowly go around the board until they meet. And when these two markers meet, that is going to trigger the end of the game, when these two markers basically collide. And whoever's passes their markers further on the track will win the game. So that's a quick overview of both of these games. Definitely not a how to play, but that's the overview of them. Now let's get into comparing these two games, actually. And let's start with some basic stuff. Let's start with component quality. And let me tell you something, this is not even a contest. I don't think Ark Nova's components are amazing or anything like that. They're average. But it blows Terraforming Mars out of the water, because Terraforming Mars, out of pretty much any of the games in the top 100 on BGG that I've ever played, this has probably the worst quality, I think. I mean, the cards are so cheap, and if you play the game a couple times, those cards get messed up and get little nicks in them pretty easily. They're really bad. The player boards are pretty bad. They're very thin. And Terraforming Mars has a bunch of tracks that you're trying to keep track of on your own player board. And pretty much every game that I've ever played of Terraforming Mars, especially if you're playing multiplayer, someone is going to bump their card and their markers are going to go everywhere. And then they're trying to figure out where their markers are supposed to go. And if you don't remember right and you can't figure out where they're supposed to go, having a difference of 1 or 2 in a couple areas is going to dramatically impact the game, whether positively or negatively, whether you remember correctly or not. And it happens almost every game of Terraforming Mars where this happens. I'm like, oh geez, like it's really bad to me. I do not like games that make you keep track of things and there's not a good system of holding those cubes in the correct place. So yeah, I mean, Ark Nova wins this one pretty easily, just basically because Terraforming Mars just had really cheap components in this. Let's go to artwork. Now, Terraforming Mars artwork is fine. I find a lot of it really boring. And this is kind of cheating because Ark Nova has photography in it. But that photography on the cards really brings the game to life for myself. The theme really comes out because of those cards. Those animals on those cards, they're so cute. Where in Terraforming Mars, when I'm playing cards, a lot of times I'm not even reading what the actual card is. You know, it's got some kind of theme to it. I don't even read the theme anymore. I don't even look at the pictures anymore. Where in Ark Nova, I'm like looking at there's a panda on this, and the theme comes out a lot more. And what's weird is I like space theme stuff more than I would like a zoo theme thing. But I like this theme more because in Ark Nova, because the zoo theme comes out to me when I'm playing this, where in Terraforming Mars, it doesn't feel like I'm terraforming Mars. It feels very mechanical to me. I like those mechanics, but the theme doesn't really jump out to me in Terraforming Mars. Let's go to the next thing. The thing that everybody compares these games it's because the card play. The card play in Ark Nova is straight up from Terraforming Mars, 100%. You can say what you want, but they are so identical. I mean, the reason why I'm actually making this video is because, I played Ark Nova a bunch, and I played Terraforming Mars a lot, but I hadn't played Terraforming Mars since Ark Nova came out. And last week, I broke out Terraforming Mars a couple times, and just because I wanted to see how similar and everything they were, to compare the two. And then I played Ark Nova a couple times. I played Ark Nova 3 times last week. Played Terraforming Mars twice last week. And yeah, the card play in Ark Nova is straight up from Terraforming Mars. And I mean, all from the cards, what they're doing, But the tags, they take the tag system from Terraforming Mars. You're going to need these tags to play this card, or you're going to need these tags to do this. The tags are very important. It's a unique thing for Terraforming Mars, and Ark Nova has borrowed that. And you are playing a tableau of cards, and these tableau, the things that are happening, you're building this engine that might affect your later turns. It's going to try and help you, work throughout that game. So that card play is extremely, extremely similar. And what the how you're playing cards is kind of the only difference. But you still are going to have to pay for these animal cards with money. But that card river is what makes this game, Ark Nova, different mechanically compared to Terraforming Mars. And I have to say, I like the Ark Nova system better because of that river. I mean, if it was just the playing cards, like out of your hand, like you do in Terraforming Mars, they would have an equal score. But because there's that card river that I think is so interesting and makes you think a little bit harder, like, I should do this, but wait, let me wait a couple turns till this card gets further along that river, and then that card action will become so much better. So Terraforming Mars has got to win that category as well. Now let's go to the time it takes you to play these games. And Terraforming Mars, this is the category Terraforming Mars is going to win. Ark Nova, I like it, but it takes a very, very long time. And that was my problem with Terraforming Mars as well, because Terraforming Mars takes a long time. But Terraforming Mars did something that I really like. It came out with an expansion that I would say is essential for myself. The Prelude expansion. Prelude, whatever it is, which basically jump starts your system and makes you almost skip the first few rounds of Terraforming Mars, which are really boring because you don't have much income. You can't do a lot of things. Prelude jump starts that. It gets your engine going faster. And I think, yeah, that's why Terraforming Mars wins the time battle for this. Ark Nova, since they are so closely associated with this, they might as well do what Terraforming Mars. Ark Nova needs a Prelude expansion. And, might as well just call it Prelude too, because that is exactly what Ark Nova needs. But yeah, Terraforming Mars is going to win the time one, just because that Prelude expansion. Now let's go to the solo games, and I'm a big solo player, so of course I've played both of these games solo a lot of times. And I mean, Terraforming Mars is one of my favorite solo games. I've also played Ark Nova a lot solo. And just like everything else, these games are very, very comparable for the solo mode, because the solo mode is basically you're just using this timing mechanism for the solo AI. All you're doing is you're trying to get a certain score by the end of so many rounds. Like in Terraforming Mars, you have so many rounds, like 13 rounds or something like that, to terraform the entire planet. So you have 13 rounds to do everything you need to do. In Ark Nova, you have so many rounds before that you have to have your markers cross before the game is over. So if you don't do that, you lose. So they're both very, very simple. They basically don't have an AI that you're playing against. Rather, you're trying to beat a certain score in so many rounds. And I like them both for that. This one's going to get a tie for me because they're just very, very simple, and I like easy to implement solo games. Like, if you know how to play Terraform Mars, you know how to play Ark Nova, I could teach you the solo mode in less than a minute. That's how easy these solo modes are, and I like that about them. So overall, has Ark Nova killed Terraforming Mars for me? And I don't say that about a lot of games, because I always think that there's room on your shelf for games that are similar, as long as they're not too similar. And, like I said, Terraforming Mars has been in my top 30 or 20, whatever it is, for a while now. But Ark Nova is just, I like it better in every aspect, almost. It's just a better game, in my opinion. It has taken what makes Terraforming Mars and excelled at it, made it more interesting for myself. So if I want to play a game that's a big, heavy Euro game where I'm building a tableau of cards, I have Ark Nova or Terraforming Mars, and I like Ark Nova more, so why would I go back to Terraforming Mars? Does this mean I'm going to get rid of Terraforming Mars? I mean, I probably should at this point. I mean, after I played it, I'm like, yeah, I would never really want to play Terraforming Mars over Ark Nova anymore. Will I get rid of it? Man, I might end up keeping it for nostalgia reasons, but there's really no reason I should keep it. I should give it to a friend who's going to enjoy Terraforming Mars more. So yeah, I think my official verdict is Ark Nova has killed Terraforming Mars for me, which is kind of sad, but it's exciting because I like Ark Nova so much. Ark Nova has definitely breached into my top 10 games of all time, I think now. So yeah, that'll be this video, and it's kind of a sour note that I killed off Terraforming Mars, but it's the truth for me. But let me know in the comments below if you've played both these games, if you like one over the other, if I'm wrong that I think Ark Nova is better than Terraforming Mars, or if I can keep both. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.